working with the CEOs, chief operating officers, CFOs, and people like that, they would say, oh yeah, all that sounds good. But in order to make that happen, I tell them you have to change the culture in your company. You have to create a learning culture, not just a Theory X culture that does what you want them to do. And I would try to convince those types of people to come to the seminars that I would teach on recognizing what those 5 things are and what the system is, the lean system you have to put in place in order to execute that and become world class. Could never get them interested in doing it. They would send lower level people that would come in and take some of the instructions that we would give them and then go back, and I would go look at their company 6 months later, and you'd never know they went to training because the culture wasn't there to support the changes they were trying to do. So I became frustrated with that, and having been associated with Oakland University since 1959, I became convinced that the only hope for this was to put this into the curriculum that the future leaders of tomorrow, being the students at Oakland, you could build this type of thinking and classwork and training into the curriculum here at Oakland so that when they graduate, a couple of things would happen. They would go into companies with the background and skills to bring this stuff into a company. And number 2, when they're looking for jobs, having this type of training on their resumes would set them aside from the normal run-of-the-mill type resumes that executives looked at for me every day. Because the way it would be in my office, I would look at 100 resumes and I would say, okay, they're all the same. Everybody's got the same grade point averages, blah, 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 blah. But what sets them different? And if there was no difference, I'd hire the brand university. So if I was looking for an engineer, I'd go to the University of Michigan. If I wanted a business degree, I'd go look at Michigan State or Purdue or somebody like that. Well, I wanted to say, when I came out and talked with President Rusty at the time here at Oakland, I said, I want to start an Institute of Learning here at the university to teach lean principles and lean leadership that tells executives, here's the type of system you need to put into your company in order to execute the changes that are required to make you the best in safety, quality, cost, delivery, and morale of your organization. And teach that. And so I said to Gary Rusty at the time, I said, I'll give you $1 million to set up an institute that starts to teach the system that will allow students to walk in after a degree here, walk in and really offer something different to potential employers that says, here's the system you need to put in place to accomplish the 4 measurables that you have to become a world-class company. And that's where we started with that endeavor 20 years ago. And I've kept funding that at various points in time, but we got to the point now where a lot of the students we've trained in this now, they have that something extra added to their resumes that sets them aside from a normal run-of-the-mill resume that executives like myself have looked at for years. Because that now gives Oakland a leg up on a resume that people say, wow, here's 10 resumes, here's one from Oakland. They all look the same until I get to the bottom. This person, this student has been trained in lean principles and lean leadership and lean thinking to go with all the other skills that they've learned. That sets them aside from these other 10 over here. I'm hiring the Oakland candidate. That's the objective. What can you do to make an Oakland student stand out from the run-of-the-mill resume that people get from other universities? I don't think there's anything better to do than to offer these skills and training to the potential leaders of not only the industry of this company, but to the leaders of our country.